Everybody, welcome to your first lesson in method acting for sane actors. So the title of this lesson is Acting is Doing. And the reason it's called Acting is Doing, because in acting, we don't want to be pretending to do something. We actually want to be actively engaged and actively doing something, really pursuing something, trying to do it. And I'm going to give you some examples of this. So now, I've had some kind of silly remarks in the past about this, where someone's like, well, if my scene is about when I'm going to kill someone, do I really kill them? It's obviously no. So, but I'm going to share with you the dynamics of this principle of acting is doing, because this principle, if you really grasp this carries over into every other area of your acting. And you'll see throughout the course, I'm always talking about truly engaging and truly doing what it is that your script demands that you do, that the character calls for you to do, and this involves even listening, because a lot of times actors, they simply pretend to be listening and instead of actively listening. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So a couple of times I've taught some workshops, and there's been times where, a lot of times actually, where the actors, they get up there with a character and they pretend like they're going to write a letter to someone. Whether it be, they're on the typewriter or typewriter, that's like, I'm aging myself there. They're on their laptop and, they're typing. And then also, even if they're just doing a handwritten letter, you'll just see them going like 200 miles an hour. If they're writing, it's, just going. And then if they're typing, the same thing. They're typing, 2,000 words a minute. It's like unbelievable, the speed. And then when I ask them, I'm like, what did you write? And every single time, without fail, they're like, oh, well, they didn't actually write anything. They just were pretending to do it. And so the big difference is you can tell that you are watching an actor set up there pretending to write something. And the big problem with that is also it doesn't engage you in anything, because you're just up there making letters, on a piece of paper, or you're just hitting keys on the keyboard. So that does not engage you in anything. So a simple exercise for you to do, anytime you have a task, you really do your best to do that task. Even if it's, pouring water, or like I said, listening, you actively listen. And so let's say you're writing a letter. Have someone that you are truly writing a letter to. Let's say the scene is about trying to reconnect with a loved one, and the person is writing, a letter to their loved one. Don't just get up there and pretend like you're writing that letter. Have someone in mind that you really want to connect with. Maybe you've got something unsaid that you've always wanted to say to your mom or your dad or one of your siblings, or someone that you were in a relationship a long time ago. It doesn't matter who it is, but as long as when you think about that, boy, who's somebody that I would love, that I have some unfinished, emotional business with, that I would love to just get this off my chest. You write that letter as you're up there doing your scene. You write that to that person, because that has true meaning to you. And when you actively do that, when you truly do it, it's going to bring you alive. It's because it's real. It's what's happening in you. So you're not going to be faking anything. I'll give you another example here. I was in a play, this was several years ago. And this involves, like how I was talking about before, listening. Because many times actors, they're waiting for, their cue. Like, okay, now I get to talk. And so they're just doing the like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be shocked when I hear that line, and but they don't. There's nothing that really goes with this. So this play that I was in. There was a particular scene where I'm married to this other actress or her character in the play, and so at one point we're just talking about our relationship. We're actually engaging with the audience, talking about our relationship over the years. We've been married for like 10 years or something like that. And so one of my lines was, I end up saying or telling her, I bring this up in the thing of like how she always wanted to have a divorce. You know, she tried to break us up a couple of different times. And so, but right before that, you know, she's sharing a story about like how great things are, blah, blah, blah. And so for me, I would always just really truly try to listen to that, and just however it hit me for that particular night. There were some times when I would laugh when I would hear her say that, because, and then that would feed me going into the line of like, yeah, well, you used to try to, you know, you wanted to file for divorce like 5 years ago. And so, you know, I would do that. And then there'd be other nights, it, you know, it could hit me like in a different way. And, but my behavior came from actually really listening to her and really observing her, paying attention to her, of like how she was performing that night, or just whatever, you know. And so when you're really truly engaging with the other person, same thing, just like when writing that letter, real behavior is going to come out of you. And one thing that was funny about this scene from this play, the director, I mean, she was just upset every time, every time I would laugh about the divorce thing, because for whatever reason in her head, she thought it was terrible to laugh about a couple laughing about the fact that they almost got divorced. And the reality is, you know, my argument was like, well, we laugh about stuff in real life all the time that happened, you know, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you know, whatever bit of time has gone by where we can look at it, you know, from a different perspective. And so, you know, there's no right or wrong to any of your interpretations. There's just going to be things that might be stronger choices, weaker choices, you know, whatever, and things that resonate more with you than, like, say in this case, the director. She had it made up in her head that I shouldn't be laughing, but I still laughed, you know, on different nights. But the point was, I was always actively listening with my scene partner and engaged with my scene partner. And so that is the principle of doing. And you're going to really, hopefully, this principle will get more ingrained in you as we go along in the course. Because if you can nail this down, your acting is going to be steps above what it is right now, and you will definitely have a big advantage over a lot of other actors, because this is something that is ignored a lot. Okay, so we'll catch you in the next lesson. Take care.